What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Get Real Bass Fishing. Today we're going to be talking about how to frog. 3.5. His eye is taken out. Remember, if you subscribe and comment below, you're entered to win a Get Real Bass Fishing t-shirt, so be sure to do that. Now, there are tons of different styles of frogs, so here are just a few. Now, believe it or not, I did catch one of my biggest bass ever on the smallest frog that you saw there. This is a little green Cabela's Duckett frog. Let's talk about how to fish it and why to fish it, where to fish it, and when to fish. So let's start out with how. The rods that you're going to need are heavy duty rods because you're casting baits into heavy cover and you need to get the fish out once you've hooked them. So my preference for using frogs would be a medium heavy fast action rod. I like the heavy duty backbone on that rod, and then when you get to the tip, it's a fast tip so that when the frog takes it, you set that hook and you're into the fish. If you were to use a heavier duty rod without the fast tip, you may rip the frog out of the bass's mouth before it's actually in there. Also, I do use a 6'6", I believe, a 6'6" medium fast action spinning rod. This is when everyone who knows what they're talking about freaks out on me. 1, it's a spinning rod for frog fishing. 2, it's a 6'6", and 3, it's a medium fast action. Let me tell you, I've caught more fish on that medium fast action 6'6" spinning rod than I have on any other bait casting rod that you professional guys would prefer. Everything that you hear on this channel is based off of my experience and my learning how to improve in bass fishing. So for a reel, you want a heavy, fast reel. I prefer the KastKing Speed Demon 9.3 to 1 gear ratio. I do prefer the KastKing reels, but a 9.3 to 1 gear ratio bait casting reel or a super heavy duty, quick, fast spinning reel, whatever you can afford that can get a fish out fast, because you don't want that fish going down into the lilies or into the weed beds, tangling itself up, and then you lose that fish. If you're in a tournament, you need that fish out as quick as possible because that fish is money. So a 9.3 or anything really fast, a 7 points, whatever, a 7 point something is gonna do just fine. For line, I do use 30-pound braid. A lot of people that are fishing down south, you guys are gonna wanna use something heavier than that. Go 50, 60-pound braid, even go up to 80. Really, you're just casting on top of lilies. No fish is gonna see the line attached to it. So it doesn't really matter how heavy you go, but the heavier, the better, so it doesn't rip or tear or just flat out break. When? My favorite time to fish frogs is the heat of the day. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1:30. Though that is like the worst time to fish anything else for us, really. So we go out into lilies. The fish are hiding underneath the lilies, under grass mats, weed beds, whatever it is, to hide from that sun. If you throw something on top of it, work it slow, splash it a little bit, you're gonna get a bite like crazy. Now the fish are either gonna be under the weed beds or whatever, and you're gonna frog fish, or they're gonna be down deep, depending on how late in the season you're at, just trying to stay cool. If it's the springtime, I prefer going out early in the morning and staying until evening. Early in the morning, frog bites right on the edge of the water or edge of the weed beds or anything like that usually is the best. I love evenings and mornings because of that. It's a cool water, the night cool down the water, you got bugs still flying around, fish are shallow in the cooler water. It's just super fun, and you're guaranteed to catch a fish top water more than you are during the middle of the day. As you can see, I have two different style bodies right here. One is a big, huge frog, and then one is a small frog. I prefer using the big frogs on heavy cover and big weed beds and stuff like that, because really you're just making a disturbance on the top of the water where the fish is going to be like, wow, what is that? The bigger the bait, the more disturbance. The fish aren't going to be able to see it because it's heavy cover being covered up by the heavy cover. Said that 3 times. Hope that made sense. I catch most of my big fish in heavy cover with bigger frogs. Now, if the cover isn't as big or heavy or anything like that, I prefer a smaller frog. You can even cut these halfway just so you don't spook the fish. I like smaller frogs in loose cover or not so heavy cover, only because I don't want to spook the fish. I want the fish to see it, but I don't want the fish to be spooked. I caught one of my biggest fish right off of a tree stump. No cover around on a small frog. All right, it could happen. So as you can see, also I have different color frogs. One is like a yellowish greenish frog. One is a black frog, and I usually take a black Sharpie and color the bottom of it. And then I have an all white mouse or frog, same thing. Really. Let me tell you about the colors, when to use the colors, and why. First off with black. I think black is the best all-around color for frog fishing. You can go to Dick's Sporting Goods or anything like that. You find these Jawbone baits for like $2 or whatever. Let me tell you something. If you go Booyah for $6, all the fish are really going to see is the bottom of the frog. So just take a cheap old frog, color the bottom of it. That's all there is to it. I usually take a black Sharpie to it, make sure it's all black, and you save a ton of money that way. I like using black frogs during the sunny days, the bluebird sky days, the cloudy days. It's just an all-around good color. You want it to contrast the bottom of the cover and the sky. So let's get into green or yellow or orange, whatever frog color you find along those color lines. For yellow, I like using it during the cloudy days as well, and also during the bluebird skies, because it contrasts the skies. I don't really like using green or yellow unless it's on a big frog, because it makes more of a disturbance, and usually yellow and green is the color of the bottom of the lily pads or the weeds. So it's really not doing that big of a difference. So then you got the whites. I like using the whites during bluebird skies or whenever I'm in shade or something like that, because it just contrasts everything. The shade puts darkness onto the area that I'm fishing, makes it a little bit cooler, and you don't really see the sky that way. So I like using white during that, and also during the blue skies, because it contrasts the sky. Well, that was an extremely long how-to video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. This video was big, man. There was a lot into it. It's nothing like the other videos that were quick and easy, straight to the point. I went straight through everything that I could possibly think of for bass fishing for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, learned a little something. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below. Plus, you get a t-shirt if you win by subscribing and commenting. So I'll be picking the winners, and be sure to message me if you win. That's the only way you're gonna get it. So thanks for watching, and then until next time, stay real and keep learning. Oh, and if you can think of a name for this guy, or anyone I should put in the tank with him, let me know. Because I feel like he's lonely.